Are you tired of being broke in Escape from Tarkov and doing endless scav runs that seem to get nowhere? If so, come with me and I'll teach you the secrets to a successful scav life. Let's assume you're someone like me and you don't have a lot of time to play Escape from Tarkov. You want to know the best technique to being an efficient scav. And one of the most important mechanics to a scav is your karma. Now, the difference between your scav karma and your karma in real life is that scav karma isn't always a bitch. Your last resort will to be engaging any other scav, or anything for that matter of fact, because sometimes you can't tell whether a player is a PMC or just a player scav. And if you kill scavs that have not shot you or shot other scavs, then you will lose your scav karma and your cooldown on your scav will increase. Now, however, if you go and be a good scav, not kill other scavs for no reason, then your timer on your scav will decrease. And the best way to avoid having to even think about this is by just not shooting anything until you are directly shot. Say, okay, well, I don't want to die. Well, nobody does, but your scav is expendable. The only real exception to being alert and shooting anything that looks at you wrong while you're on a scav is if you are carrying an extremely high value deal, like maybe a graphics card and LEDXs. Something super rare is when you'll kind of want to be really defensive. But for the most part, getting your scav karma to go good and have your scav on a reduced timer is way more important than making a measly 200k off of a scav run and losing your karma. Doing your own scav run can often be much better than following somebody's tutorial of, say, a loot route that they run. The reason this is, most of the time when you're watching a YouTuber or a streamer, their job is to play Tarkov, so they may die a lot more often on a scav than you think, but it may not be worth it for you to follow their exact path. High value loot areas are usually packed with player scavs and PMCs, and you always have to be careful of other player scavs because you don't know when one's going to get a little greedy and cap you. So sometimes finding a route that's a little less populated is a lot better than hitting a max value item that maybe you survive 1 out of every 10 raids, but that one raid you made 500k. It doesn't make a good trade-off. Something else that we are all very accountable of and have all done is getting too greedy. There is a time when it is more than likely best to leave than rather trying your chances with a high successful rate. Now, this is super hard to do because you could see PMC running around and be like, man, if I could kill that, that would be a sick kit and I would also get his loot. But you yourself are carrying a good 200k, but you still decide to risk it and end up dying, and now you have gained nothing. So now sometimes you can have a good raid, and sometimes fighting is inevitable, of course, because it is Tarkov, and people just happen to be in random places, and that's most of the time when you will die on your scav. Another often time of getting greedy is when you're sitting looking at, some pretty good stuff, and you decide that you're going to go check one last area, and that will end up being literally the last area you will check because you will die. Although doing this isn't just a massive greedy thing, and it isn't as dangerous as engaging in combat with somebody, sometimes is acceptable to do if you just don't have very good stuff and you just need to hit a new area. But if you're looking at a pretty good run, then make like a tree and get the fuck out. Doing something such as dropping low durability items like maybe armor that your scav spawn with and being able to move faster and quieter is something that is really good to do, unless of course you're on an extreme crunch for cash. Keep in mind your scav is a tool, not just a random play element to the game. That'll be all for today's video. If you guys want to see a more in-depth scav guide, let me know.